Oh, shoot. Be right back. Shoot me a DM, Kicks. Shoot me a DM, man. Did I text you today? I went on your thing and I copied your number. I might have been in between a phone call. Let me know if I messaged you or not. I wanted to text you. I'm just not sure if I did because when I saw your DM today, I was at the office. So let me know if I didn't text you. I'll switch over and text you right now just so you have my number. Okay. Give me a quick second. What up, everybody? Hey, everybody, just give me 2 seconds, okay? Good night, Brady. Go back to bed, man. Mommy caught you. We're good? Okay, perfect. Okay, we're back. Guys, is the mic on? I know we were having some issues with muting and everything. Is the mic on and working? Is the video still live? I had to alt tab out real quick. Perfect. Thank you, Kicks. Yeah, there's my number, Kicks. Just send me a text, bro. And then I won't be on long tonight. So if you want to chat tonight, we can. If not, we can move it over to tomorrow. Audio 5.5. Okay, good. What's up, everybody? What's up, Natalie? Good to have you. If you have any fragrance conversations you want to start or any questions that you have, feel free to ask. We're absolutely happy to have you. What up, Percy? What up, Greenlee? What up, Kicks? What up, Joel? All my regulars. What's up? Indiana Jones. What's up? NYC. What's up, bro? How you feeling? Best Zara is Zara Man, Quantum. Zara Man, brother. Easily. What's up? How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? We're gonna get a quick frag check for y'all before we get into this Q&A. A lot of y'all been clicking over because of the lipstick. I know y'all saw that lipstick. And we can talk anything, guys. We can talk anything tonight because as you can see up here, we got a lot of cheapy deepies, right? In the mid, we got designer and niche. On the third level, we got clonery, kind of higher tier clonery. And on the bottom, we have mid-tier clonery. So we can talk clones, dupes, inspireds, niche, whatever y'all want to do. Whatever y'all want to get into tonight, we can do it all. And then in addition to that, we got, at least in that drawer alone, we got probably about 100, 150 decants of mostly niche and designer. So anything y'all have questions about, they call me the scientist. I do not sell fragrances. I do not advertise anything. This is free game, Q&A. Let me know what y'all want. I'm gonna go up through the chat real quick just to say what up to everybody who I missed. What's up, Brianna? Good to have you. No, I don't sell fragrances. I kick game on fragrances. So anything y'all have questions about, or any topics in fragrance y'all'd like me to elaborate on, this is what we do every night. We come in here and we talk fragrance. What up, Sophia? What up, dear? I don't have a fave, dear. I have favorites. They're all my kids. What up, Karash? Good to see you. Oh, I could see we're gonna need to pull out that broom. We're gonna need to pull out that broom tonight, Joel. I hope you brought the sweeper. We gotta put the babies to bed, man. Mom went to sleep and they're all out running through the kitchen looking for cookies. We talked about Neroli last night, so today I wore one of my samples for the first time today, Neroli Botanica by Essential Parfums. That should have been pretty good, Greenlee. That actually should have been pretty solid for you. I'm curious to see what you think because I know you got a different nose. Boring 4 hours, no sillage. Ooh. Essential Parfums is tricky. By the way, Kix, I got your text. I'm gonna call you as soon as I get off live. 100. What are your thoughts on Azzaro? So as far as Azzaro, I only give 2 recommendations, and a lot of the issues with designers today is that many are outdated. I mean many. And they're not just they're eternally outdated by niche, but they are growing by the day, getting outdated by many clone houses and many reformulations and kick-ups from designers. So for Azzaro, for me, the only thing I'm ever recommending from Azzaro is Wanted by Night Parfum and the Most Wanted Parfum. Everything else is buns, outdated. Absolutely, Karash. The Guerlain colognes are calling me. It's something about the bottles. You know, honestly, I mean, this is not a political answer for Guerlain. I prefer a summer spring banger is the vetiver fragrance from Guerlain. But I'm gonna be honest with you, lately, since it's still kind of cold, I've been rocking with Low Midiol Extreme. Cherry almond white champagne. You really get that champagne feel. The cherry isn't like dark cherry and amber or even that dark cherry Clive Christian if you want to talk niche. This is like it literally smells like cherries sitting in the bottom of white champagne in a glass. Like they're soft, but they're juicy. It's got like that kind of slight carbonation of like champagne feel. And then that almond, I think, is tinging the cherry. So it doesn't kind of smell like black cherry. This is like soft, soaked white champagne cherry almond. So this one for me, even though I feel like it feels better in colder climates, if the sun is out and I'm at least indoors, I'm still rocking this in the spring, summer. Low Midiol Extreme EDP from Guerlain is an absolute banger. For those of you who can't afford it or want to preserve cash flow so you can get more bottles, prioritize quantity, not necessarily over quality, but just quantity. You can also go with Extreme Loam Supreme from Fragrance World, I believe. $20 on Amazon. I would say it's about at least 9 out of 10 close to Low Midiol Extreme EDP. In my humble opinion, I would call it a 9.5. And anything above 90% is worth offsetting the original. That's just my opinion. Many people debate about it, but a lot of people buy fragrances based off of things that I recommend. So how do you feel about earthy scents? Absolutely love them. Ganymede, I absolutely love. Initio's, alternative to Ganymede is going to be Paris Corner Amir's Celestial for $20. Or you can obviously go with Ganymede and pay $300. Another earthy fragrance. Anything from the Bentley line has like a lot of earthiness in it. Bentley Momentum Unlimited. Nice herbal, metallic, slight aromatic, somewhat aquatic. Nice metallic fragrance. Obviously, Acqua di Gio Armani. We're talking citrus, marine, vetiver, patchouli. I prefer Profumo, but Profondo is also a really good option today. The eau de parfum is typically greener. So if we're talking earthy, I prefer the clear bottle eau de parfum, but it's kind of an older, more mature fragrance. If you're under like 25 years old, I think you're better off using Acqua di Gio Armani Eau de Toilette, or Profumo or Profondo. Or sorry, where is my head at? Yeah. So if you're a young guy, the entry point for you is probably going to be Profondo, EDT, Profumo, Eau de Parfum. And if you're an older gentleman, in order, your hierarchy of Acqua di Gio is going to be Profumo, Eau de Parfum, Eau de Toilette, Profondo. Other earthy fragrances, Lalique White, one of the best white fragrances ever. What do I mean by white? I mean clean linen, I mean fresh bar soap, but the difference between all linen and soapy fresh fragrances is this is one of the most intricate multi-layer fragrances. You've got the soap, you've got the linen, it's super photo real. You have some interesting spices. I'm not talking Middle Eastern spice, we're talking American spice, kind of American. It's got a very American touch on it, but a spritz of tamarind, cardamom, black, pink pepper, touch of citrus. So like, for those of you who have fragrances that smell like kind of like dryer sheets or soaps, this is like that times 50. Like it's got so much more nuance and dimension. This is like going into a forest and smelling the best aromas from spices and earthiness that life has to offer. It's so fresh. It literally smells like the color white. And when you compare it to stuff like Banana Republic's 90 Pure White, Versace Pour Homme, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, Mont Blanc Legend Spirit White Bottle, Mont Blanc Legend, Ferragamo Pour Homme, you know, a lot of stuff in that realm, Mont Blanc Star Walker. This to me reigns supreme as the best clean slash soap slash white fragrance available in the market. Designer house, actually. Same designer that's now working with Bentley, same designer that's worked with Louis Vuitton. And this fragrance is probably $20 to $25 for 100 ml. When we talk earthiness, this is timeless but super modern. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a spray of it because I try to find reasons to spray that on myself. It's absolutely stellar. Lalique Ligne Soumise is very nice. Tom Ford Grey Vetiver is always a go-to. Earthy suit and tie monster. Mancera's Vetiver Sensual, obviously. I mean, when it comes to earthy scents, there's really unlimited choices because when you talk about fresh fragrances, all they're using is earthiness and citrus by and large. So there's a lot of great options out there. Did you try Acqua Dubai? Yes, I tried Acqua Dubai. I think a lot of people think it's better than it is. It's a great fragrance. I would consider it maybe an 8 out of 10. For a lot of people trying to go after like imagination or anything in the realm of LV, you know, citruses on aquatics and citrus basket oriented type fragrances, tropical fragrances, beach fragrances, you know, sophisticated beach fragrances. A lot of times they only try like 1 or 2 fragrances and they compare those two and then they pick their favorite one and then they start telling everybody that this is the best rendition of Imagination or L'Immensité or Tigar. And a lot of times they're wrong, but they're just also misinformed a lot. And I think, excuse me, Acqua Dubai is the same thing. A lot of people think it's better than it actually is comparatively across the landscape. It's a solid 8 out of 10 fragrance, but it is not the moon and the stars. There's plenty of other options in that DNA. What up, big dog? Can you make a recommendation for a clone for Azzaro Wanted by Night? I'm going to be honest with you. When you go on fragrancebuy.ca and Joma Shop, the price is so low, I wouldn't even recommend a clone for Wanted by Night. Now, what I will tell you is for that seductive, fresh, slightly romantic vibe, slight mystery edginess, I do think you don't need 100 ml of Wanted by Night. I think Wanted by Night, you selectively crack out for the ladies or the nightlife or whatever. and then you go somewhere else with it. So I would actually only recommend a 50 ml portion of Azzaro Wanted by Night, unless you're a younger guy or unless you have less than 10 bottles, and that's going to be kind of like your signature fresh date night, like Prada Luna Rosa Ocean, Prada Blackie, you know, Gucci Guilty, Sauvage Elixir kind of replacement for your date category, then okay, jump in on 100 ml. You could probably snatch it up for like 40, 50 bucks, 100 ml at any discounter. But for me, that DNA, it's not outdated. It's just outclassed by so many other fragrances in its tier that you really only need 30 to 50 ml of that juice. We'll get through the chat, guys. I know there's going to be a lot of new people in here tonight. What's your thoughts on Latafa Camra? It's too sweet for me, and I think for most people it's too sweet. The younger men tend to gravitate towards it, you know, guys 30 and under. It is a great scent, but it is not Angel Share as marketed. It's just a very gourmand heavy-esque sweet fragrance. I actually think Camra Kawa is better. So if you don't have Camra yet and you're debating between Camra and Camra Kawa, Kawa is way more interesting, slightly toned down on the sweetness, so you feel more masculine wearing it. The coffee note makes it way more interesting and less kind of potpourri, sugar, spice, and vanilla holiday cookies vibe. This feels a little more coffee shop, but dressed up mature. Still a holiday-esque fragrance, but I think it goes a little bit more versatile into that cold weather, being a nice little signature banger. It's a nuclear fragrance, just like Camra. But in that DNA, it's not going to have... My biggest issue with Camra is it's a season/holiday-centric fragrance because it's overly sweet and overly gourmand. It's not like Spice Bomb Extreme, where you can kind of still rock it in the holidays, but also just wear it in colder weather and bang out. You know, Camra always feels like milk and cookies and pies and... you know, baked goods and all that, and potpourri and all that. So for me, again, if I'm picking between those two, I'm picking Kawa. If I want something in the wheelhouse of Camra, but I want it to be more cold weather versatile, not just season dependent on like holiday-esque or coffee shop type vibes, I'm going to go with Angel Share. And if I can't afford Angel Share, I'm going to go with Paris Corner's Amir Fire Your Desire, which to me is the best clone, tied with French Avenue's Royal Blend Nero for the best clones of Angel Share on the market. And where I think they nailed it on a DNA like Angel Share, which is vanilla, spices, cinnamon, praline, cognac, is that the cognac is heavy dripped on here. If you don't put dark liquor on cinnamon, vanilla, praline, and all that stuff, you have a completely feminine fragrance. But because they drenched it in liquor, cognac specifically, kind of that sweet oak barrel-y type of vibe, more alcohol-y though, that's the saving grace to make this still perfectly unisex. You still feel like you have your manhood with this. Whereas something like Camra or even Camra Kawa, it feels safely unisex, but to most men, they say it leans feminine because it is just overly sweet and overly holiday implied. Whereas this, as long as it's colder weather outside, you can wear it dang near on any occasion, upscale casual, date night, nightlife, just cold weather outdoors. It's an absolute banger. So I tend to lean on this type of DNA, and I bust out Camra Kawa style DNAs more for Thanksgiving, Christmas, coffee shop cold mornings, stuff like that. Maybe like a nice morning, you're whipping up breakfast, or you're going somewhere for a breakfast out in the morning and it's colder weather. You got a jacket on. This will feel very nice. This would be a barista's best friend. This is like straight up, you know, you're the manager at Starbucks and you want to smell better than, you know, all the baristas there. You walk in there like this and it's going to complement from a vibe standpoint very nicely. Okay. Thank you, Greenlee, for the transcriptions. Thoughts on Jean-Paul Gaultier? I only advocate for Le Male Elixir, but in reality, I would say all Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances are about an 8 out of 10, but either they smell really good and suck at performance, or they smell okay and have really good performance. But to me, the best of both worlds is Le Male Elixir. However, these days, I always let people know that today, at this current time, you do not need to get Le Male Elixir. You can actually get Lattafa's Kingdom, I believe, or Lionheart, Greenlee, if you can, in the transcriptions below. Let them know whether it's Kingdom or Lionheart from Lattafa. One of those is a spectacular Le Male Elixir clone, so you don't even need to go with Le Male Elixir from Jean Paul Gaultier. Go ahead and save yourself some money and spend $20, $30. Todd Stratton, que onda, wey? Por favor. Good to see you, man. Buenos dias, or buenos noches. What's up, brother? What's your favorite house? If you had to go with just one, Tariq, I would go with Lalique and or Bentley for my favorite house. I wouldn't pick if I had to pick let's see, from clone houses, if I could only pick one, I would go with probably Fragrance World. Fragrance World or Armaf. If I had to go with a designer house, I would go with Lalique or Bentley. If I had to go with a niche house, I would probably go with, let's see, at my age, I'm 36. So I would probably go with, man, that's a tough one, man. This might catch a lot of people off guard because I almost never talk about this house, and it's because I like so many other niche fragrances over this house. But when you look at their exclusive line in a nutshell, and you count all of their entire line and you stack that up versus another person's entire line, it's really hard to beat. And that's Chanel's exclusive line. Now, granted, Chanel's exclusive line is purely unisex, but there are fragrances that lean towards masculine and fragrances that lean towards feminine, and then fragrances that are perfectly down the middle. I don't know if that's a for sure answer. You know, if I had to be conservative, I might say something like, you know, actually, that's actually a phenomenal question. I really don't know. Like, if I had to pick one niche house, I might conservatively say Tom Ford, but I feel really sucky saying that because I can count on my hand how many Tom Ford fragrances that I either have or would buy, and I wouldn't buy any of the others. But if I had to play with one house, I would say Chanel exclusive line, because they've got the largest selection of highly well formulated fresh fragrances. So many different variations of neroli and ginger and citrus and spices and musk and leather and patchouli. You know, they've got like over 40 fragrances in their exclusive line, and they all smell insanely signature. Are they all insane? Absolutely not. Again, out of that entire line, I can probably hand pick 10 Chanel exclusive fragrances that, and again, we're not talking, when we say Chanel, we're not talking about, you know, Platinum Egoist, or any of the designer level Chanel. We're talking exclusive line only, stuff like Chanel Boy or Les Leones or Coral Mandel or Sycamore and things like that. So yeah, out of the niche category, I would probably go at this current moment with Chanel exclusive over Tom Ford, Bond Number 9, Roja, Frederick Malle, Initio, Mind Games, Creed, Xerjoff, Amouage, and what's the guy's name? Joe Malone. A lot of those. I'm picking Chanel exclusive for right now. So that actually surprised me. That question literally just made me actually think of what I would pick from, and I'm glad I answered it as of each tier, you know, from, inspiration to niche to design to designer to niche, because I've actually never thought of that before. You know, what if I could only go with one house? Normally, I'm thinking of designers because it's a no-brainer for me picking Lalique or Bentley. Probably Lalique more than Bentley, but at the niche level, I have never thought of that question. So good question to you, Natalie. No, you're not the only girl. I would say about at this time of the video, there's probably about 14% of my audience, which are women. So now a lot of women come to my channel either because they're mothers and they want to get fragrances for their children. So they need recommendations. They're trying to get fragrances for their man. So they're looking for recommendations, or we do cover an insane amount of unisex fragrances on this channel. So that's another reason they come to the channel, to look at the unisex fragrances I've reviewed. But as of last month, I've seen my analytics that my female numbers are going up as far as viewership. So I've recently picked up a lot of fragrances that are for women. We've gone through several of female-leaning or women-leaning Chanel exclusive line. I've recently picked up the top 25 fragrances for women in the designer market currently. So we're going to be going through all of those, all the most sought after popular women's fragrances out, and we're going to review those. We're going to go over my wife's favorites. So right now we have probably well over 30 or 40 reviews out on unisex fragrances that are feminine leaning. After about mid-March, we're going to have another 40 or so fragrances for women that we review. But no, you're certainly not the only woman. But, you know, in the world of fragrance, it's pretty divided. You know, like women watch women, men watch men. But I'm actually really interested in kind of like how each of the sexes looks at. Like we need to have more fragrance reviewers cross collaborating with the opposite sex. I think that would be cool, because there's a lot of different categories in psychology and fragrance that are really interesting. And I don't just want to see it from the perspective of like a husband and a wife. I would love to see like different age groups and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. So, but no, you're absolutely welcome here, Natalie. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, now I'm going to catch up with the questions. Thoughts on Parfums de Marly Layton? Parfums de Marly Layton is really nice. I prefer Layton Exclusive over original Layton, but as of 2 weeks ago in my fragrance journey, I'm done purchasing Layton because this fragrance right here is better than Layton. I'm going to flip the camera for you guys. Ignore my son's drawings right here. Lalique White and Black. This fragrance is about $25 on fragrancebuy.ca for 100 ml. And this fragrance is Layton. It's not a clone of Layton because it comes from a designer house from a female perfumer, which almost for her entire life was a niche fragrance designer. So it's just a very well-made formulation. The thing that I don't like about Layton is I feel like it's too sweet and it leans too much into feeling like cherry chapstick, which isn't a bad thing, but it's overly done to the point where it loses its freshness and its nuance. So for me, this is exactly in the DNA of Layton. Not exclusive. This is exactly in the DNA of Layton, but they toned down on the sweetness just a little bit, which actually rounds off the cherry chapstick vibe. You won't feel like it's explicitly cherry chapstick with this. It's softer, but you still get all that juicy performance out of a fragrance like this. And for 25 bucks, to me, I prefer this over Layton. Maybe not Layton Exclusive, which is, you know, in some ways just the tiniest bit better than this, but for $25, this is one of the best Layton iterations without being a clone I've ever seen. The atomizer is phenomenal. The bottle looks great. The price is affordable. It's a designer fragrance, so it's not poorly made. This is phenomenal. In fact, I'm gonna put it on my arm. I could sit and smell this all day. It's fresh enough to go into warmer weather as long as there's a breeze or you're indoors, but it's still dominant enough to sit right where it should, which is, you know, fall, winter. This is an extremely versatile. If you like anything Mancera Instant Crushy, this is far better. Okay, Omar, what's good, boy? What's good? How you doing, fam? Kingdom. Thank you, Greenlee, for that clarification. Yeah, I'm picking Chanel exclusive, not Chanel original, even though Chanel has a lot of great designer bangers. I'm picking Chanel's exclusive line. Okay. Was looking at that one. Love Habibi, New York and Rook. Karina, that's awesome. I'm going to screenshot that and look into them. Is Lalique Insumi a good masculine first date fragrance? I'm going to be honest with you, man. Linsumi is one of the most special fragrances of all time to me in its category. I don't think it gets enough love because it's always discontinued. It creeps out onto the market, and when it does, everybody sells it out immediately. Wow. Linsumi is it is not a date night fragrance. I think it would be quite intimidating in a date night realm because it's so fresh. In a very unique way, though. Fresh is okay on date night, but typically you want to go somewhat seductive. You can go conservative in a date night, but I find that you kind of want to be subtly sweet at a date night with a lot of masculine touches. You want to lead forward with masculinity and kind of soft touch that with sweetness or anything in the wheelhouse of sweetness. Going with an absolutely clean fragrance on date night screams friend zone. Your fragrance isn't complementing your intentions. But all that aside, because again, it's a preference thing, Linsumi is by far not a date night fragrance. Linsumi is an incredible signature office fragrance. If you want to outsmell everybody at the office or at work, you throw this on. If you want to have a very upscale, casual, errand running or school attending type of fragrance that's inoffensive, clean, but highly unique and interesting as a earthy, green, fresh, citric, minty type fragrance, that's Linsumi. But it is not a date night fragrance. In fact, since we're in the conversations with Lalique, Lalique's White and Black is your date night fragrance from Lalique. I actually think no other Lalique fragrance beats Lalique's White and Black in terms of date night. In some case, and that's ageless. That's any age. Lalique White and Black's going to be your answer. If you're an older gentleman, I would say 30 and up, and you really think you got some balls to you, this is a date night killer. But it is not for everybody. Smooth but edgy tobacco, drenched in cognac. I mean, I'm talking, this is the most cognac drenched, way more drenched in cognac than Angel Share. The freshest, most mature tobacco, drenched in cognac, drenched in resinous hot amber, and then it's just got slight fixtures of sweetness and cinnamon and papyrus. So you kind of have this green, but then this cinnamon, then this vanilla, and that only represents like 30% of the fragrance. Again, this leans masculine, aggressive, and then is soft edged, whereas a lot of younger men prefer a fragrance to be super sweet front with a 30% edge of like heavy macho manness. No, this is a macho, masculine man with soft edges. So this leads with the tobacco, in the amber, in the hot resins, and the cognac. This is look at this juice. Most of it is straight cognac. But yeah, so this is a date night killer, but I think it starts at 30 and up. And if you want something more instant crushy from Mancera, something sweeter, something along the lines of, obviously, Leighton or Instant Crush, or what's some other ones? Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, Noir Extreme, Spice Bomb Extreme. This beats out all those. So that's a nice little ageless date nighter, very safe. Similar to like a Versace Eros EDT, which is also another date night fragrance, but it's kind of a hybrid. Versace Eros EDT is like extremely fresh, but also has this vanilla and apple seduction going on. So it's kind of like a playful date night fragrance where you smell good, but you don't smell like aggressively attracted to the person. But again, I can't really speak too heavily on Versace Eros because it's the most complimented fragrance by women in the designer category in the world. So the polls say you can use Versace Eros EDT for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, any season, any reason, any occasion. So in that case, date night, you can absolutely get the job done. Okay, I'm building a cart. And guys, it looks like I'm kind of getting behind on the chat. I know I'm a bit behind. You guys know that's typically how we do in here. I'm long-winded. But Greenlee, Joel, if you could help me out in the chat, kind of answer people's questions, and I'll get to them when I get to them. I am going to try to move a little bit faster. I'm building a cart. So far, it has Rafficat, Armaf Odyssey. I hope you mean Armaf Odyssey Black Edition. Oh, Mega Bentley. Oh, Mega. Yeah, I would switch Mega out for Odyssey Ohm Black Edition. Rafficat's okay. Rafficat is what? Baby Cat? Amir Celestial, Milestone, Sacrat, Amir Sadrat Essence, Oud Satin Extrait. Oud Satin Extrait is what? Is that Ministry of Oud? Yes. Okay. Okay. Armaf Supremacy in Heaven. Honestly, that cart looks pretty decent, Donnie. I would remove Armaf Odyssey Mega and instead get Armaf Odyssey Ohm Black Edition. I would remove Armaf Supremacy or Offnon's. I know you meant Offnon's Supremacy in Heaven, which is the silver bottle here. I would remove this from your cart as well, and instead, I mean, to be honest, you really don't need a metallic citrus fragrance because you have Sacrat. Sacrat will do more for you than a Silver Mountain Water DNA ever will, and you've got that handled. So I think between Amir Celestial, Bentley Momentum will cover your silver fix. That's a close Silver Mountain Water alternative. You really don't need it. So yeah, just take Offnon Supremacy in Heaven completely out of your cart and then switch out Odyssey Ohm Mega for Odyssey Ohm Black Edition, and you've got a pretty nice cart there. Mont Blanc Starwalker is nice and clean. I think that's necessary. Equus is beautiful. Lion is a very, very mature fougere, so tread with caution. Lalique White is great. Bentley Black Edition is great. Anything that is outdated or not worth buying. Yeah, instead of getting Bentley Black Edition, I would replace that fragrance with Mercedes-Benz Intense. It's going to get you almost the exact same DNA, but it's going to give you a lot better performance. Bentley Black Edition smells insanely good, but it has low performance. Mercedes-Benz Intense, however, is actually incredible with 10-hour plus performance, 8-hour plus performance. But if you have Mercedes-Benz Intense, you also don't need Lalique Pour Homme Lion, because Bentley for Men Intense is same DNA but better, and it beats out Black Edition because it's got orange as well. So yeah, you can just drop Lion out completely, as well as Bentley Black Edition. Okay. Angelic, have you tried Bahara Blue? I haven't, Clive Productions. What's it smell like, brother? Scent Bubble, what do you think about Side Effect, After Effect? So, I wasn't the biggest fan of Initio's Side Effect. I smelled the original DNA, or smelled the OG about 3 weeks to a month ago. I get it. It's a little too boozy for me. It feels very boy toy. You know, the streamer, not Kai Cenat, but the dude with the gold teeth. I forget his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. Dude with the dreads with the gold teeth. He wears Side Effect because I was watching some fragrance commercial or whatever. He was saying he wears Side Effect. Side Effect feels like a boy toy fragrance for people 20 years old to 30 years old. it's very boozy, it's very sweet, it's very dense. I think to more upscale women, like a true woman, well, I can't even really say that because I know some women who prefer very dense fragrances and they like their man chocolated up or velveted up or rosed up. So I don't want to speak too soon there, but I just find it to be overly, to me, a true seductive man fragrance doesn't have to travel across the room, but it has incredible projection of about 4 to 6 feet. Side effect travels across the room, lingers across the room, 10 plus hours on clothes and skin. It's boozy, it's sweet as hell, it's rosy. It's just not my tea. Now, speaking on After Effect being a good alternative to Side Effect, it absolutely is. It's about an 85 to 90% out of 100. It'll totally get you to the dance and do the same effect, no pun intended, as Side Effect. So After Effect's a great choice. What's up, Nabil? Good to see you. Your take on Mancera's Cedrat Boisé Intense. It's better than original Cedrat Boisé, but I just find the DNA to be completely outdated. If you're really interested in buying niche along that DNA, I would highly suggest something like Chanel's Coromandel. That's niche. Going into something conservative in the clone category, maybe something like Amir Cedrat Essence is a much more cooler fragrance to me than Cedrat Boisé Intense. Cedrat Boisé is timeless, but I think on younger people under 30, it just feels like an old man fragrance. It's got a lot of character, but it's kind of just like a timeless old classic. But in the DNAs that we have today, it gets outclassed by a lot of fragrances. So I don't know, brother. If it were me, I would go to Chanel's Coromandel if you want something really upscale in the same wheelhouse. If you need something more affordable, go with Amir Cedrat Essence. You'll have something a little bit more playful. There's another fragrance that I'm not thinking of at the moment that absolutely smokes that fragrance. But yeah, so that's just me though, bro. Hey, y'all, hook this man up with a like for the knowledge he's dropping. Thank you, Greenlee. Crazy, I got the Layton 75 ml like 6 months ago, and the new formulation batch is a pure skin scent. Yeah, it's unfortunate, bro. That's why I always tell people to go with the Layton exclusive. But now that I'm having Lalique White and Black be so much better than it, pay the 25 bucks and get 2-3 bottles of that and just cake it on. What perfume houses reformulate? Oh, why do perfume houses reformulate their best ones? Because they have to find another reason for more people to buy it. As new fragrances come out, we're in a time now where Dior Sauvage Elixir and Bleu de Chanel, to true fragrance heads, fragrances like Bleu de Chanel will never get outshined in Sauvage Elixir and all these classic go-tos, right? But as clone and inspiration houses continue to get popular, and as new fragrances come out onto the market from the same designer houses and the niche houses are blowing up, I don't care how much Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage Elixir is a great fragrance. There's just gonna be so much more out there that people are just tired of even hearing the name of that, and they're gonna want to move on to something more interesting, just out of pure interest. So that's why they keep reformulating the same fragrance over and over and just calling it an Absolute or an Extrait or an Le Parfum and all that, because they're just trying to change it a little bit to run it back. Fragrance houses are a lot like freaking Xboxes, or no, fragrance houses are a lot like the Call of Duty game. We've made like 25 different renditions of Call of Duty and like 45 different renditions of Madden and NBA Live and 2K and all that stuff. All they're doing is just switching out the players and putting a new soundtrack to the game, but it's essentially the same game. That's what they do with new fragrances. It's quite whack, but as new inspirations and stuff hit the scene, these guys are going to get put out of business, or they're going to be forced to actually come into the game with something competitive and nice, and that's a good thing for all of us. Hey, what would you say is the best? And guys, again, please, I know it doesn't say that many people are in here, but every 2 to 3 minutes, there's a rush of like 50 people that come in here, and they all post questions and then either leave or whatever. Just be patient, guys. I'm going down. I will not end this live until all questions are answered. I see 20 people in here and I only see 15 likes. If you want more people to flood in here that can fill the chat and have conversations with you while I'm catching up in chat, hit the like button, the 3 dots on the top right-hand side of your screen, and then hit like. The algorithm will send more people in here to interact with you guys in the chat. It always happens like a charm. What would you say is the best warm weather frag like spring, summer? I don't know about best, but I think ones that you simply can't go wrong with is Lalique White, obviously. Lalique Equus with the horse on it. Both of those fragrances are $25, 100 ml. Versace Eros is a nice versatile banger as well. I personally, in the niche category, love Mancera's Vetiver Sensual. Bright citrus basket with amber and vetiver. Ferragamo's bright leather is probably the only leather you can wear, only leather that you can wear in hot weather. It's like 70% bright, warm citrus and like only 20-30% leather that almost comes across like suede because it's so fresh. We're not talking any kind of leather you're used to. We're talking like super commercial, feel good, invigorating, bright. I almost wish they didn't call this a leather fragrance. You know, it's like they should call this fragrance Happy Face, because when you put it on, you feel masculine, you feel invigorated, and you just want to smile all the time. I always tell people this is the fragrance where one of my homies, Mike, he's a big niche head. He loves collecting niche, which might change soon because he's getting put onto a lot of different fragrances and whatnot. But really good friend of mine. But he only collects niche, and he recently had to get himself a 100 ml bottle of this. And in fact, a lot of viewers from the channel have picked up Bright Leather this week. In fact, I think 5 people from the channel have purchased this via my recommendation. Spring, summer as well. Things like CK Everyone, Coach Open Road is very viable. Any of the Silver Mountain Water DNAs. Latafa Sacrat to me is one of the most underrated fragrances of all time. Acqua di Gio Profumo is a clone of, that's what it's a clone of. $20 on Amazon. You get 100 ml of one of the most versatile spring, summer, any season, any reason juices on the market, and it's highly masculine. You can dress it up, dress it down. I think it's one of the most slept on clones of all time. But you have a lot of options, brother. I mean, I just am looking at fragrances I own. I don't want to tell you things that I don't own. So yeah. Okay, moving down. Bro, Lalique and Bentley being your favorite houses, give me one from each that are must-haves so I can grab. Okay, so, NYC, I will give you recommendations on the best fragrances to have if you tell me what the occasion is you're looking for, like fresh or date night or suit and tie. Like, I need a category before I give you the best fragrance, because it is category specific what the best fragrances are from each house. There's not one fragrance that just dominates every fragrance in the line. It's like, no, in this line, this is the most incredible date night. This is the most incredible office. This is the most incredible earthy. So tell me your 2 categories, and then I'll give you a Bentley and a Lalique recommendation. I'm going to screenshot that, Joel. I'm going to pick that fragrance up. You better not fail me, because I'm going to go pick it up tonight. I found my grandpa's old Azzaro Chrome. What's your opinion on Azzaro Chrome? It's old. There's a reason your grandpa had it. You know, when it comes to like a silver metallic fragrance, there's just so many fragrances that for $20, you can absolutely upgrade your silver game. Is it a bad fragrance? No. But when you compare it to every, sorry guys, I'm just stretching. If you compare it to almost every metallic-based fragrance, from everything from Creed Silver Mountain Water down to freaking, down to like, I don't know, something from Calvin Klein or Banana Republic, it sucks comparatively to them. As a standalone fragrance, you're going to smell old and outdated. Women that come next to you are going to say, oh, he smells fresh, but I know I've smelled that before. Yeah, because you smelled it in 1986. So, you know, I liken it to something like Nautica Voyage. Nautica Voyage is a great timeless fragrance. But if you have somebody wearing Nautica Voyage and you have somebody next to you wearing Mont Blanc Legend, Spirit, or Blue, like something just simple, not even something super modern, something that's just newer, than Nautica Voyage. It's going to take a crap on Nautica Voyage. Could a classy looking guy rock Nautica Voyage as a fresh, aquatic, blue, casual, upscale, casual type of fragrance? Absolutely. Because 2/3 of the world doesn't even wear fragrance. So you have an edge just even wearing a fragrance. However, in the world of fragrance, you are a beginner lunchbox of a collector. And there's nothing wrong with that because everybody has to start somewhere. But the reality is the same money that you would use to pick up something like Azzaro Chrome or Nautica Voyage is the same amount of money that it would take to upgrade to almost any of the designers that you see behind me, which is quite amazing. So now it's not just, oh, well, don't diss me, man, because this is where I'm starting at in my journey. It's like, you don't have to start there. You could take that same $20 and literally get a star-studded designer feeling fragrance for the same price. So Azzaro Chrome, though good in comparison to today's world of metallics, is bottom tier. Supreme Loam Extreme is nice, NYC. Azzaro Chrome is classic. Metallic summer fragrance. Affordable spring summer cough. Nabil, he's talking to Nabil. Do you know any tobacco fragrances stronger than Mancera Red Tobacco? Absolutely. This right here, but it's better. Lalique Ombre Noir. Tobacco. Warm ambery resins. Woods. Vetiver. Drenched in cognac. Drenched in tobacco. Warm, slightly sweet, slight bit of cinnamon, but it's mostly a cognac dripped tobacco fragrance. This, if any of you guys like tobacco vanille, let's just address the elephant in the room. If any of you guys like Tom Ford's tobacco vanille, or if any of you guys tried tobacco vanille and absolutely hated it because of how synthetic it smells, this fragrance beats tobacco vanille by a mile. Think of Angel Share meets tobacco vanille, and you have Ombre Noir from Lalique for 30 or 40 bucks. This is the most seductive cold weather / date night fragrance without being sweet. Who would have thought that you can be sexy and seductive without smelling that sweet? On the sweetness meter, this is like a 3 out of 10. It's got some sweetness. Got a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of warm ambery, tiniest vanillic touch, only maybe like 20, 30%. 70% is just straight balls out, cognac, woods, and soft but slightly edgy tobacco. Bro, this smells like a dude in a leather jacket who's puffing a cigar, and his woman found out he was cheating, so she grabbed some cognac and just threw it on him and said, "Piss off, I'm out of here." That's what this is what that guy would smell like. I can't believe you. Ah! Yeah. That fragrance will get you in trouble. It's so NYC, it's white and black, and then white, Ombre Noir, Loam Extreme. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not the most versatile cart, NYC, but that is a beautiful cart, bro. You got the Lalique white and black, which is gonna cover your like instant crush, kind of like you know, it's gonna cover your latent fix, but it's gonna be even fresher, beautiful fragrance for date night and cold weather. And then you got white, which is gonna be like a everyday wear. You can put 10 sprays on you and smell so interesting, but nobody who has soap or linen or peppers or citrus type fragrances, no one's touching you. You're gonna smell incredible there. So that's your everyday grab and go blind dumb reach. Ombre Noir is that cigar and cognac feel, highly mature, extremely signature. No one will ever smell like you with this fragrance. At first, spray it in the air. This is a fragrance where at first you might be, I don't want to say thrown off, but it's not like any fragrance in its category. Like when you smell for the first time the combinations of cinnamon, ambery, resinous wood, the fragrance is almost hot, like it's like hot liquid fire, and you smell cognac and you smell the tobacco, you're gonna be like, whoa, like you have to take this fragrance serious. But you'll find that each day you put your nose to it and each day you put it on a test strip, you're gonna just be like, oh my gosh, nobody has this. This is insane, insane amounts of signature. And then L'Homme Extreme, the L'Homme Ideal clone, you're gonna have that cherry champagne, cherry almond champagne feel, and it's gonna be fresh. Which I would actually, you know what, real quick, I am just curious because a lot of times when I make my fragrance combos, it comes from me talking out loud on these lives. So one thing I'm actually highly interested in is a 2-to-1 ratio of Lalique Ombre Noir. So let's do one spray. So what we're doing is tobacco and cognac. What happens when that comes into contact with cherry almond and champagne? So we're putting basically smoky woods under cherry almond champagne. And I actually did a 3-to-1. I want to see what happens when you put cherry on that cognac. Woo! Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to switch up the ratio. We might have a new one on our hands, boys. So let's go. You don't have to go 3-to-1. Let's go 1. Actually, you might have to hit 2. Let's just go safely 1 spray to keep it masculine. I think the more you spray of L'Homme Extreme, the more, I don't think it needs that much cherry. You want it more like wood soaked. Wow, that's special. That's special. So NYC, when you get the Ombre Noir, it is amazing on its own, but play with the combo of like 2-to-1. So 2 sprays of Ombre Noir and then put, so it's a 2-to-1 ratio, but do 1 spray of your L'Homme Extreme first, and then put 2 sprays of Ombre Noir on top of that, and you kind of get like a cherry wood. That's crazy. A cherry wood cognac. So you lose the champagne vibes, but you could rock them either way. Okay. Karina says, oh, okay. Yeah, red tobacco, and I'm not a big red tobacco fan, only because I feel like Prada Luna Rosa Le Parfum, the red top glass, does the red tobacco DNA better than red tobacco intense and red tobacco standard. But I do have some respect for red tobacco. Yeah, you know, when I smelled red tobacco for the first time, I didn't like it. Red tobacco intense, I became a bigger fan. But once I put my nose to that Prada Luna Rosa Le Parfum, I was like, nah, this is what that should have been. But I don't hate on red tobacco. I have plenty of friends that absolutely love red tobacco, and it's a very interesting, unique DNA. What's the best Parfums de Marly in your opinion? The political answer is Sedley because it's the most versatile. Every other Parfums de Marly is not versatile, and for that reason, I don't think it's the best. Everything's extremely circumstantial. Layton's date night / any season, any reason. If you want to be, well, it's Layton, I can wear it anywhere, whatever. It's mostly a date night cold weather fragrance. Carlisle is more of a holiday winter fragrance, but it is fresh, so I think you can be a little bit versatile with it. Pegasus is powdery and sweet, very circumstantial. A lot of people like, you know, Altair and Percival and all that. Those aren't better than Layton and Carlisle and Sedley at all. But they are very good fragrances. I think the political answer is that the best, most easy to wear, universal blind grab pick for anybody in Parfums de Marly is Sedley. My personal favorite from the batch is Carlisle and Leighton Exclusive. When it comes to Percival and Herod and Pegasus and all that, they're excellent fragrances, but all of those fragrances either dip into floral powdery sweet, vanilla, spices, honey, tobacco-ish, and then super fresh and green and all that. So for me, there's too many niche DNAs that absolutely annihilate Percival and Herod and Pegasus and even Leighton to me, but there's not a lot of fragrances to me that beat out Sedley or Carlisle. So I would say my number one is Sedley, my number two is Carlisle, and I'll do a power ranking of Roja, Parfums de Marly, probably next month for you guys, because it is one that I'm educated enough to speak on. Does anyone have Aqua Wood by Mancera? Aqua Wood is quite talked about. If you go over to my man, The Novice Knows, or the Sillage Saint, they talk about it quite in depth, and they like it. I love y'all talking to Joel. This is beautiful. I just smelled Royal Tobacco. It's pure fire. Just got Interlude Black Iris. Beautiful, Tarek. I'm also in the market for a woodsy scent. Thank you guys so much for your patience, by the way. I need to sip some coffee. I'm also in the market for a woodsy scent and a signature scent. And right now, the strongest contender for a signature scent is Ganymede. Do you think that would be a good play? I do think Ganymede is a great play. However, to me, Ganymede's going to run you about $300-ish. And to me, Amir Celestial is going to get you like 95% of the way to Ganymede. I actually prefer this clone over Ganymede. Ganymede, for me, leans too earthy. What they did with this was, you know, in a nutshell, the Ganymede DNA is quite simple. Mineralic, like fresh, pure mineralic scent, fresh cut suede, violet leaf. That's the main components. Then kind of like a soft edges, but that's from the violet leaf, creating like some powder to it. It's a mineralic suede violet leaf, slight sweet powdery scent. It's somewhat like a much fresher, earthier Pegasus. Amir Celestial nailed this clone almost to 100%, but the only reason it's not 100% Ganymede is because they ramped up the violet leaf, so it's a touch sweeter than Ganymede, which I actually think is so necessary because Ganymede always lacked kind of like a somewhat commercial level of sweetness. It didn't need it because it was it did need it, but earthy fragrances don't need to be sweet at all. But when you start trying to get sweetness from florals and not from actual sweet accords, you really should play on that sweetness, because when you go floral sweet, you're already cutting the sweetness in half from like something comparatively like a Prada Luna Rossa Ocean, or a Jean-Paul Gaultier Les Beaux, or Ultramale, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are more like 7 out of 10 level sweetness fragrances. So going to Ganymede, it automatically gets knocked down to like a 3. I love how they ramped up the violet leaf with this, which took it more to like a 5 out of 10. So it's still nowhere near considered like a sweet fragrance, but that powdery sweetness allows the mineralic suede to get pushed forward more, and that sweetness makes it a little more commercial. So for that reason, I actually think this is one among maybe 10 fragrances I own that not only annihilates the original, but also gives you more performance. So this bottle, I would probably buy 5 bottles of this just to have them, because like you said, Ganymede is such a signature DNA, and it's so beautiful, guys. I mean, when you could take a earthy fragrance and make it just feel so modern and not make it feel like Eau Sauvage green or like very woody or just like old school, you've pretty much written a masterclass, because women love florals and earthy elements, but they just want it to be fresh. They want it to be clean. They want it to be light. And a lot of times these men kind of cigar out the earthy notes. They make the green super green. They make the leather super animalic and just super rich. They take the florals and they throw too many in there, and they don't let a single note like a yang-a-lang or a violet leaf or a jasmine or a lily of the valley. They don't let these individual florals shine. They just love throwing a bunch of citrus together, throwing a bunch of florals. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is really a finesse piece right here. And for $25, this is one of the most incredible clones ever made. I would 100% go with this instead of Ganymede. It's just that much better and that much cheaper. I have Ganymede. My friends have Ganymede. And once I showed them Amir Celestial, they were really upset that they had to go now and flip their Ganymede bottle. But Ganymede is still a great fragrance. If you want to just say screw it and go pick up Ganymede, you're not going to lose money. Well, you will lose money, but it's a great fragrance. But why? If you like the finer things in life, pick it up. You won't lose. Mercedes-Benz Man Intense, which is the black, blue, silver bottle, or Mercedes-Benz Intense black and gray silver bottle. You recommended one of those instead of Bentley Black Edition and a Lalique. If you want me to remember something I said 20 minutes ago, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to run the tape back. But you want Mercedes-Benz Intense. Don't worry about what the bottle looks like. Just go on Google or go on Amazon and type Mercedes-Benz Intense, and they will show you what the bottle is supposed to look like. When you have Mercedes-Benz Intense, you can forget about Lalique, Pour Homme, Lion, and you can forget about Bentley Black Edition. Throw those out of your cart. Just get Mercedes-Benz Intense. And to be quite honest, even if you just got Mercedes-Benz Original, it would still beat those fragrances, but the Intense gives you the 8+ to 10 hours of performance. Moving on. I'm moving down very fast now. How do you like Dior Sauvage Elixir? I don't like it, but it is a widely popular fragrance, but I think every day that goes by with how many fragrances are coming out now, that fragrance is going to be easily beat out, even at the designer level, by so many fragrances. But Dior Sauvage Elixir is an incredible fragrance. It's just starting to get a little bit outdated comparatively. So if most people don't wear fragrance, so you're going to smell incredible. But if you continue to use it as a signature fragrance, people will start to... Let me put it like this. For the amount of money that it costs... Joel, should I be looking at that? Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me know if my mic's turned off or whatever. Sometimes it mutes or whatever. But for the amount of money that it would cost me to get Sauvage Elixir, I can buy 4 100 mLs of designer fragrances that beat Sauvage Elixir. Take clones out of it. Take the clones out of it, guys. With $100 only, or $120, let's call it, I can pick out 4 designer fragrances in the same wheelhouse that beat Sauvage Elixir, and they only cost $25 or less. That's all I'm saying with Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir is still incredible. It's one of the most loved fragrances. A lot of women like it over Bleu de Chanel, even though Bleu de Chanel is more versatile. They like the... Sauvage Elixir looks exactly like Johnny Depp in the commercial. It's a good-looking guy who's bad boy edgy. You know, it kind of has a Carolina Herrera swag to it. So it's never a bad fragrance. It's just, you can get so much more. I'm scrolling, guys. Also, do you know any good Creed Royal Ouds clones? Yes. So if you see this bottle here, and we're going to switch the camera. If you see this bottle here, guys, this is Ministry of Oud Satin. This is a clone of Oud Satin Mood from Maison Francis Kirkjohn. Now look back at me. So look at this bottle. Take a screenshot of this bottle. Now, Ministry of Oud makes another fragrance called, now watch this, This is called Oud Satin, and it's cloning Oud Satin Mood. Ministry of Oud also makes a fragrance called, so you were looking for a clone of Royal Oud. So Ministry of Oud makes a fragrance called Oud Royal. And it looks exactly like this bottle, except for this is like a navy blue. If you look at it closely, Oud Royal is all black. So this part of the packaging is a black. So that is easily the closest clone to Royal Oud from Creed. I have smelled Royal Oud. I have smelled Oud Royal. It's about 90%. The rest of it is just a little bit lack of background depth. But if you want that kind of executive CEO, private jet flying, mafia boss, feel, that's an incredible clone to get. Ministry of Oud's Oud Royal. It looks just like Oud Satin, but it is a black on clear glass. Oh, okay. Thanks, Joel. I'll definitely look into that fragrance, buddy. What's your favorite vanilla fragrance? Unashamedly, every time. I don't care what anybody thinks. Grand Soir is my favorite vanilla fragrance. And I really don't care what anybody else thinks about it. I have not seen vanilla done. This is gonna, if y'all want to pause me up, I don't care. I have not seen vanilla done in a more creamy, rich, and sophisticated way. I know there are a lot of vanillic fragrances that are better than it on paper from a layering and combination standpoint, from a signature standpoint. But if you're asking me what the best vanilla is, without question, Maison Francis Kirkjohn's Grand Soir. It is just, there's something about it that the way the vanilla and amber is treated in that fragrance, and it's such a simple DNA, but the rich expensiveness of it, I have yet to find in any other fragrance in the niche category. So for me, if we're talking a pure vanilla, not, oh, most date night and winter fragrances have vanilla in them, so they count. No. When we talk super vanilla forward fragrances, I'm going with Grand Soir every day of the week as the best vanilla fragrance for me. And I don't care. It's a political answer. I don't care. I think what it comes down to is I hate vanilla forward fragrances. I think they're a cop-out in fragrance. So many people just throw 60% of vanilla in a fragrance and think they can dress it up with either spices or freaking citrus or freaking amber or woods and think they have an incredible fragrance, or cinnamon or tobacco, and it's just a cop-out. That's why I don't like a lot of vanilla forward fragrances. However, Grand Soir is one of the only fragrances that is a vanilla bomb that still I can't throw away. I have to always constantly come back to it and smell it. There's so much finesse with it. It's one of the best handlings of a vanilla forward fragrance. So I think that's what it comes down to, is a lot of fragrances have turned me off to vanilla because I feel like people use it like a cheat code. And for a 36-year-old man like myself, you can't just put vanilla on and sing. Okay, so I've smelled Dior Sauvage Elixir from a magazine and it smelled good. It does smell good. It's just not great to me. Any fragrances similar in performance to Red Tobacco for around the same price. Looking to buy another bottle, but want to see if I could spend the same money elsewhere for a more powerful fragrance. I don't know about a more powerful fragrance, but to be quite honest, I don't think Red Tobacco needs to be any more powerful than it already is. That thing sings across the room. That thing is nuclear, especially Red Tobacco Intense. I personally have always favored Prada Luna Rosa Le Parfum, the slightly red glass top bottle, over Red Tobacco any day of the week. I think it just smells exactly like that DNA, but just way smoother. What do you think about Calvin Klein Eternity? Vintage classic that you should not wear anymore. I mean, guys, listen to me, man. Listen, guys. I like old school cars. I like old school music. I like old school clothes and I like old school vibes. I can almost make a rap song out of that. Listen, guys, I like old school vintage stuff. I like throwing on old t-shirts from 30 years ago. I really don't, but I'm just saying that for the purpose of this conversation. Guys, can we just say this, guys? And I say this as somebody who can show you fragrances that I still own from almost 30 years ago. This fragrance is almost 30 years old, guys. Original bottle, formulation, Marc Jacobs by Marc Jacobs. I've had this since like 2002 or something, very close to that. I have original Versace Dreamer that is about 25 years old, give or take, okay? So I have old fragrances, okay? Guys, in 2025, just listen to me. This is no longer a money conversation anymore, so I'm not dissing you. We can't say, well, it's my money and blah, blah, blah. No, that's no longer an excuse in this community. In 2025, can we just stop wearing Obsession, Eternity, Jupe, Nautica Voyage, Polo's Party Pack, Old Ed Hardy, Drakkar Noir and Drakkar Regular? Can we stop wearing CK1, B, and all? Can we stop wearing CK Defy? Can we stop wearing Dolce and Gabbana? I'm going to go up the ladder a little bit. Can we stop wearing Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue? Can we stop wearing Versace Pour Homme? I mean, guys, it's 2025. I could cover my eyes and randomly point to any fragrance in my collection that's the exact same price as any of those fragrances and absolutely smacks those around. Can we just stop wearing the old classics? They're not classic anymore. They're like an old car, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be the guy driving the car that says historic vehicle on it and you're just taking it out every day for a cruise because you can't grow up. This is just my opinion. You guys can do whatever you want. I'm not dissing you. I'm just speaking my mind. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to have an experience that you love with fragrance. So if driving a vintage car and wearing Obsession feels good to you, or maybe it's like your first time in fragrance, so really the classics feel new to you because it's your first time messing with them, or maybe your dad wore some Obsession, so now you're obsessed with some Obsession. I get it, but there's just so many options available to you guys today. I'm going to make a list called the 101 Guide to $25 Fragrances. And I'm going to list 100 fragrances that you've never heard of that beat out every classic fragrance on the shelf of any department store. It just has to be done. It just has to be done because there's just new stuff going on in 2025 that just makes people out there still wearing Ferragamo F Black and freaking, I mean, I don't want to be, I'm not trying to diss, guys. I'm just speaking my mind. You know, listen, don't listen to me all the time when I'm going on my rants. I still have Versace Dreamer. I'm not wearing them. I still have the entire Banana Republic line sitting behind me as I goofily talk about $20 fragrances. I have CK Everyone and CK1 and CKB and CK this and CK that. I have really old fragrances, you know, like this big dong looking fragrance right here. Frickin' Cuba Gold. Looks like a cigar, extremely phallic though. You know, smells like malt liquor. You know what I'm saying? I got Drakkar Noir back here. So I'm a complete contradiction. But it's just how I feel, guys. What about Honor and Glory? Is it a good buy and what season is it to wear? I'm going to be honestly, I think that's a preference that I can't really speak on. Honor and Glory is supposed to be like white florals and creme brulee. Guys, I want to be so serious. I want to be serious, okay? Look at me. Guys, look at me right now. Okay? Now let me get serious with you for a second. Matter of fact, let's get serious on the lights. Okay? Let's turn this off. Look at me, guys. Now I'm coming to the camera, right? I want you to keep a straight face when I ask you this. Do I look like, when you walk up to a guy that looks like me, right? I'll walk up. Do I look like I need to be wearing white florals and creme brulee? Do not laugh. Do not laugh. Come on, guys. Come on. All right, now let me answer your question, Lee. I don't think Honor and Glory is a good buy. Honor and Glory is a great smelling fragrance in the air or on a candle. But unless you have a fixation on creme brulee as an accord, and I'll say that with a straight face, because I mean, if that's your preference, cool. And I'm not even a hater of white florals, but specifically the combination of creme brulee and white florals. It's got some other stuff going on, but that's the main kind of breadth of fragrance. If you want something in that realm that hits that fix in a more masculine leaning unisex way, I would highly encourage you, and this is some irony here, the bottle actually looks the same as Honor and Glory. But instead, this is Fragrance World or French Avenue's Glorious Oud. Ignore that it says Oud. There's no Oud in it. Glorious Oud Royal Blanc Extrait de Parfum. This looks like the Honor and Glory bottle, but it is a clone of Initio's Musk Therapy. And this is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 clone on every facet, on accuracy, on richness and detail, and on performance. It's a little bit more costly than your average clone. I believe this is somewhere between $30 and $40. I was only able to find it on tripletraders.com, but Triple Traders had exceptional shipping and really smooth purchase flow. I would highly recommend getting these two together, actually. Both of the purchases I've made from Triple Traders have been 10 out of 10s. Zara Man I could only find on Triple Traders, and Royal Oud, Glorious Oud Royal Blanc by French Avenue. This is a 10 out of 10 clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, and this is actually beats Black Orchid EDP to me on every facet. The DNA structure, the performance, the uniqueness. It's exactly Tom Ford Black Orchid EDP, slightly scaled down from the Orchid, just the tiniest bit to make it a little bit more masculine, rich in cacao and patchouli, has a bit of chocolate cakeness to it, but rich in patchouli and masculinity. For anybody who said, I hate wearing Black Orchid because the floral is too sweet and blah, 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 blah. If it's too sweet, I recommend you get Bulgari Man in Black. It's Black Orchid without the orchid. But if you're fine with Black Orchid, you just want it dialed back a slight bit, but still keep all that sexy, chocolatey performance, Zara Man is one of the best clones ever made for 2025, and Glorious Oud Royal Blanc is one of the best Musk Therapy from Initio clones. Now, all that aside, this will get you the same kind of soft touch, white floral, powdery sweetness as Lattafa's Honor and Glory without smelling like creme brulee. So I would recommend this over Honor and Glory, to be fair. And you know, aside from the laugh we had earlier, I do strongly feel how I feel about that recommendation. Okay. Can I make it to the bottom, guys? Pause. I had a girlfriend give me a bottle of Gucci Noble for my 21st birthday. I priced it on eBay. It's close to $300 for a bottle. Hey, man, hold on to it. I appreciate that, Coffee Club. I appreciate you, man. We're here to just bring people value, man. We don't care about analytics over here. We just care about talking about fragrance and sharing our love for it. We're all just having fun. You know, I always tell people I'm not the Lord of Fragrance. I'm just here to let people know that fragrance is something that you can get into now so affordably that there's no reason why you shouldn't put it in your life and boost your mood and your environments. Makes you feel so good. So I just educate people on my journey. I'm not a fragrance reviewer. A lot of people call me the scientist of fragrance. But to me, I'm just documenting my journey, sharing my information, and I'm keeping it moving. Latafa Fakar Black is a nice YSL-Y EDP clone, so good job, Henry. Thank you for that clone transcribe, Greenlee. Appreciate it. What's up, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ask K says, what do you think about Obsession? You know what I think about Obsession. I'm thinking of throwing Encre Noir under Moustache. Hey, listen. See, SoCal, you've been watching me for a while. I can tell, because you got great instincts. I have Terre de Hermes and Bleu de Chanel for summers. What should I get next? Well, it depends. What's you trying to go into fall and winter? Because it looks like you got the spring and summer covered. Those are bangers. Okay, Joel, what was the other leather fragrance that he said? I think Ferragamo Bright Leather. Thank you, Greenlee. Hey, buddy, looking for a clone of Tom Ford Oud Wood? Absolutely. I'm sure because this is such a popular clone that there are many people in my chat who already answered this for you. But the best clone of Tom Ford's Oud Wood is, in fact, Woody Oud from Maison Alhambra. I'll give you a second to take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What I'm finding is that if you're new in fragrance, the first time you smell Oud Wood, you're going to be absolutely blown away. Oh my gosh, fresh minerals. And then you're going to get more fragrances that just annihilate this. However, this is one of the best layering fragrances of all time. Anytime something is too sweet, put Oud Wood under it. Anytime something is too green, put Oud Wood under it. Anytime something is too sweet, put Oud Wood under it. At first, when you buy this fragrance, you're going to put it on and think you smell like $400 because that's what everybody does the first time they smell Oud Wood. They never smelled minerals before. You'd think they never smelled minerals. And you put it on and you're like, I smell different. I smell expensive. And then it's like that dies out really quickly after about a month or two once you start collecting new fragrances. And then it kind of just turns into the best layering fragrance of all time. This is an essential utility fragrance, not for its DNA, but for its layerability and its ability to duff out very potent fragrance accords. So if you have like something very intensely green or intensely sweet or intensely floral or intensely resinous, this has the tendency to freshen up a fragrance really quickly. So for that, it's worth the $20 alone. But it is a good standalone fragrance. It'll just get boring after a while, you know, smelling like exotic rocks. You know, the upgrade from this fragrance would obviously be Ganymede or Mere Celestial. That's the next kind of mineral upgrade. It still has the mineralics, but now you introduce suede and florals. It's a little more complicated of a fragrance. That's the natural progression from this, but you should still use a fragrance like this to tone fragrances down in the same way that Ancre Noir a la Extreme is one of the best. It's an okay standalone fragrance. You're gonna smell like burnt resinous wood after a fire, which I'm actually totally chill with. You know what I'm saying? But it's an even better fragrance for anytime something smells weak and you need to boost the projection, anytime something smells too unisex and you need to masculine it out, anytime something smells too fruity and you need to tone that down and ground the fragrance. This is the best layering fragrance. It is essentially pure woods and resin. So it's in this type of accord goes under almost 90% of all fragrances that are out there right now. So this grounds a fragrance and makes it masculine. This freshens up a fragrance and tones down notes that are too loud, like sweetness. This would be an incredible fragrance to put with something like Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrances, tone down some of that sweetness. These are two of the best layering fragrances of all time. Now, another fragrance, and again, this is the last rant I'm gonna do, guys, and then I'm kind of just gonna speed fly through the questions because we're gonna be signing off soon. But another incredible layering fragrance is Ancre Noir Sport. This is, you're gonna look at the note breakdown and think you're gonna get something in the wheelhouse of Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. You won't. Even though it says grapefruit on the top and vetiver in the base, this is nowhere near Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver. It's bitter. It's a bitter, grassy green vetiver. It's almost like somebody took fresh cut grass and smeared it on soil, and so you kind of smell the richness of soil and this kind of bitter green grass, wheatgrass shot type of. This is like you just got out of a shower washing yourself in Irish Spring bar soap and somebody threw a wheatgrass shot on you. So you still smell fresh and vibrant and citrusy, but now you've got this bitter, earthy wheatgrass shot thrown on you. So it's a terrible fragrance, truthfully, to wear alone. But anytime you want to give an earthy ground on a fragrance that's either too sweet or maybe too ambery, or maybe the fragrance just smells synthetic and you want to give it some earthiness to like just make it smell more real or more niche, this is like a pure green fragrance to put under anything to ramp up the earthy touch to it. So this is also an essential comboing fragrance in my opinion. So yeah, rant's over. Let's go ahead and catch up on the chat. I hope that was helpful for you guys. But yeah, Maison Alhambra's Woody Oud is a great Tom Ford Oud Wood replacement, and it's an incredible layering fragrance. Bro, do you recommend Oud Cafe by Mancera? Not really. You're going to smell like Starbucks, you know? It's a good, again, it's a good smelling fragrance in the air, but over time, it's going to be something like, you know, Kawa, where it's like, this fragrance smells incredible, but you're not going to wear it every day. You're not even going to wear it once a week. You'll probably wear it seasonally at Thanksgiving and Christmas, or if you're going into a coffee shop or on an extremely cold day as like a slight out of the bag signature, but extremely circumstantial. So Amora Cafe is a good smelling fragrance. A lot of women like the smell of it, but does it smell cologne-y like a fragrance? No, it's very circumstantial. In fact, if you want that feel, I would just take your $30 and get Kawa and call it a day. It's better than Kamra. It's got a note of coffee. It smells kind of caramel latte vibes, but a little bit more masculine. Still gives you the Amora Cafe vibe, but only 30 bucks. And, you know, if you're going to wear a fragrance seasonally and here and there, you should only spend 30 bucks on it, in my opinion, unless you're balling out of control And in that case, get the Amora Cafe. It's a good smelling fragrance. But I think as far as a DNA, I really wouldn't give it more than a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of things that interest me. What are your favorite Etat Libre fragrances? I really haven't smelled anything other than Fat Electrician, so I can't really speak on those, but I do have a discovery set coming in where we'll analyze everything. There's 3 houses that I'm getting discovery sets for currently. Mind Games, even though I've smelled about 5 fragrances at Neiman Marcus from Mind Games, I have Jadoub as well over there. We're getting a Mind Games discovery set. We're getting a Tot Libre discovery set. And we are also getting a Born to Stand Out, the white and red bottles, Born to Stand Out discovery set as well. So I'm actually really excited about those. We've got some more Yam and Lail coming in from Greenlee. So we got a lot of really dope reviews coming soon. Bro, do you, nope, we already read that. Sauvage Elixir smells good. Da, 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 da. Sauvage Elixir smells good to a woman. It smells sweet like Baccarat Rouge in the air with Drakkar Noir. I get that train of thought. I don't know about Baccarat Rouge. That's a bit of a stretch in terms of the sweetness and the medley there, but I get what you're saying. It's kind of got some sweetness contrasted with some like masculine balls to it. I get it. If you guys see me looking ridiculous right now, it's just because I'm trying to scroll extremely fast. Thoughts on Lattafa Art of Universe and Armaf's Connoisseur Man. Okay, so I can't speak to Connoisseur Man, but I can speak to Art of Universe. Art of Universe is in the same way that Lattafa's Assad is Dior Sauvage 80% and then twist. Art of Universe is like 85% Blue Talisman twist. I personally think with that fragrance, you kind of forget that whether or not it's close to Blue Talisman, you don't really care because it's just a really good smelling fragrance. TLTG really speaks highly of it as a really good fragrance. It's certainly better than Fragrance World's Taj 2. So, I don't know if it beats Alexandria Fragrance's Blue Talisman inspiration, but Art of Universe as its own standalone fragrance, I would give it probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I normally don't 0.5 rate fragrances because I think it's really cheesy. So if somebody held a gun to my head, I would call it an 8 out of 10 fragrance. But I think in the fresh blue category, most younger guys under 25 would call it a 9 out of 10 fragrance. I think guys 30 and up would call it an 8 out of 10 fragrance. Slightly above average, not an absolute mind blower. Almost done with all my coffee here. Okay, what about Versace Blue Jeans? My review on Versace Blue Jeans comes out this week, so just stay tuned for it. Even if there's fragrances I don't like, I review them anyway because I give due diligence so that other people looking at the fragrance can get an honest review on it. Because just because I don't like a fragrance doesn't mean I can't break it down and appreciate it and give somebody a good analysis of it to figure out if they should pick it up or not. You guys will find with a lot of my reviews that even if I don't like something, I really look at every part of the fragrance, from the cost to the DNA to the alternatives, so that people can get a very objective view of a fragrance to help them make their own decision. It's not about what I like, it's about what I've learned to transfer to you so that you can make good decisions. Because the reality is that a lot of people should be decanting fragrances and they don't. So I'm kind of like people's decant. Can you recommend any gourmand fragrances? Not really. I'm not the biggest gourmand fan. Again, this is one of those things. First off, before I do this, let me just tell you to answer your question. Zara Man, clone of Tom Ford Black Orchid. It has a chocolate cakey cacao vibe to it. So I consider this entry-level gourmand, and that one I do. And then Angel Share is entry-level gourmand as well, which I do. But outside of that, I'm not a gourmand guy at all. It doesn't speak to me. But again, When I walk up to you guys, when you see me down the street, you guys can't really tell at a distance, but I'm 6'2". Well, I recently lost like 30 pounds, so I'm not as big as I used to be. So, you know, if we were talking 2 months ago, I would have told you I'm 6'2", 233 pounds. Okay? Now I'm 6'2", 210, still a big guy, right? So if you saw me walking down the street, right? Would you tell me, I came up to you like this, right? Would you imagine being this close to my face that I would smell like baked goods? Don't laugh. Never in a million years. I wouldn't smell like cake. I wouldn't smell like brownies. I wouldn't smell like sugar cookies. I wouldn't smell like chocolate. I might smell like chocolate. But no, I'm not a gourmand. I'm not a gourmand guy. There are some fragrances in the gourmand category that I might mess with that are kind of patchouli cacao-esque. Like, I don't know the house, but the fragrance is called Psychedelique. I definitely want to try that fragrance. But gourmand in general, just, I don't want to smell like people want to eat me. I know that sounded crazy. So yeah, Phaeton, my recommendation, brother, is like, these are the only gourmand-esque fragrances I have that I would recommend. Number 1, Zara Man, best clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid to me. And it has cacao and patchouli, which create this illusion of kind of a chocolate, cakey, velvety fragrance. So that's borderline gourmand. The next fragrance I would recommend is Angel Share clone, Amir Fire Your Desire for $30. And this is vanilla, cinnamon, praline, cognac. So it's gourmandy, but not all the way. She'll still want to eat you, but you can keep your manhood with a fragrance like this. Perfectly unisex. The cognac saves it. And I guess another gourmand is going to be Kamrakawa. This is vanilla. This is cinnamon. This is, a lot of people say black coffee or coffee. It's not. The coffee note here is an accord of caramel latte. So in a nutshell, it's vanilla, it's nutmeg, it's cinnamon, and it's caramel latte from Starbucks. So that's also considered entry-level gourmand. I guess another gourmand, I'm just seeing these as I'm going, is L'Homme Ideal Extreme from Guerlain. I have Supreme L'Homme Extreme from Fragrance World, 20 bucks on Amazon, but I also have L'Homme Ideal Extreme over here on my utility shelf. This is Cherry Almond Champagne. So I guess that's entry-level gourmand as well. So all of those are incredible fragrances. If any stood out to you, just rewind the YouTube video. You can go back and pick those up. Eros is good, Nano. Versace Pour Homme smells like 2009. Bus ride to school every morning listening to emo songs. I couldn't agree more. But I'll do you one better. Versace Pour Homme, Mont Blanc Legend Spirit, Dylan Blue, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, Nautica Voyage, Rasasi Hawass. All of those smell like the emo kid going to school. Eros is fire, but I always recommend people to buy Versace Eros Eau de Toilette because it's cheaper than the EDP and the Parfum. For like 35, 40 bucks, you can get 100 ml of juice. Eros is better than Flame and Energy and Pour Homme. And it's one of the only EDTs that still has 8 to 10 hours of longevity and about 4 to 5 feet of projection and sillage. So get the EDT, you'll save money. Get a 100 ml bottle for 35, 40 bucks. That's almost unheard of for a designer. And, you know, obviously Parfum smells better, but, you know, it doesn't have better performance in my opinion. And it costs more because it's a later release. There's really no need. Get yourself, you know, to be quite honest, I have a 50 ml right here of Eros. It's all I need because I'm not the biggest fan of Eros. I'm more of a Blue de Chanel guy, but this is very sexy and doubles as date night, whereas Blue de Chanel doesn't really. It's classy and sophisticated, but there's no real sweet seduction to it. This is more of a date night fragrance that can be dressed up or down. But for what I paid for this 50 ml, I should have just paid the extra 5 or 10 bucks and got the 100. But this was gifted to me. Otherwise, I would have changed that. But that's really all I need personally. Do you guys recommend the Amora Cafe? No. Opinions on fragrances from Bath & Body Works. Mahogany Woods is okay, but Bath & Body Works is not fragrances. Yeah, Nano, that's hilarious. Oud for Glory is not too sweet for men. It's about a 6 out of 10 in terms of sweetness. Best fragrance world fragrance. I don't know, man. This one's really hard to beat. FOMO Fragheads Asylum. That's really hard to beat. Most versatile fragrance ever. This is almost the Aqua di Gio upgrade in the niche world. This can be used for any occasion that you could possibly imagine. Any weather, great longevity, closest clone to Elysium. That one's hard to beat. Have you smelled Ardal Zafran Musif? No, the only Ardal Zafran I have is the Imagination clone, which is Sahib Intense, which is the best Imagination clone to me. I think for what Ardal Zafran fragrances cost, you're better off paying the extra 15 or 20 bucks and getting 1 million Lucky for real, even if you have to downgrade and get a 50 ml bottle. That's just my opinion. But there are great 1 million clones out there. I don't believe there are any for Lucky that I would co-sign, but as far as 1 million Elixir and 1 million Royal, there are some great clones. How close is Fakar Black to Y? 90%. It just lacks a tiny bit of depth, but it is a nuclear monster performer, and it is YSLY EDP for sure. No one will think that you have a clone on. And it's a $20 fragrance. What do you think of Maison Alhambra's Tobacco Touch? It's trash. It's absolute trash, Bruno. Get Lalique's Ombre Noir instead. Latafa Eternal Oud is a very good base for layering combos. I can see that. Molecule is a hoax. Molecule 1 is a hoax. Prada Black, please. I want to get it. Don't get Prada Black. For the same price, you can get Bulgari Man in Black and get more performance. Prada Luna Rosa Black has always struggled with performance. You could spray yourself 100 times with that fragrance, and 1 hour later, you will not know that you even applied fragrance. Get Bulgari Man in Black. It smells exactly like Prada Luna Rosa Black, but much higher performance and slightly more sophisticated, but same DNA. The Encre Noir series is such an amazing value for the money, and my ranking video for the Lalique line is coming out soon. How do you feel about Armani Code and Profumo and Sepal Bound? Those aren't the best Armani Code or Profumo DNAs in that fragrance. It's a good fragrance, but if you want Profumo, just get Sacrat and call it a day. Also, what do you think about Tobacco DNA, the clone of Maison Alhambra Tabac, renamed Smoky? 7 out of 10. What's your favorite perfume on your wife? My wife likes Delina. I prefer Flower Bomb. My wife's favorite fragrance right now is YSL Libre. Yeah, Joel. I always say TLTCG, whatever the heck it is. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Art of Universe and these fragrances, they come out priced between $40 and $60. But if you just wait a couple of months, they always go down to about $38. That's about the lowest per show one is ever going to go. And if it goes down to $40, Art of Universe is absolutely worth it. Just ignore the FOMO. Tips on losing weight. The fastest way to lose weight is to skip breakfast and try to completely skip breakfast and make your first meal lunch and dinner. And you can eat as much as you possibly want because you'll always be in a caloric deficit. And a caloric deficit is the fastest way to lose weight. So by skipping breakfast, you automatically put yourself in a 16-hour window of fasting every single day, which is going to improve your organs, detoxify your body, give you better rest, and give you more energy, surprisingly. The easiest way to wean off is to start by replacing your breakfast with a smoothie or a pressed juice, and then eventually go no breakfast and push the juice up to lunch. So drink the juice first and then have a lunch. And then if you can make it even further, make your lunch a salad. It could be a chicken salad or a meat salad or a salmon salad, anything like that. So go to 2 meals a day. Make sure in the middle of the day you're getting all your nutrients via the juice and the salad, and then literally eat whatever you want in whatever quantity at dinner time to satiate and pack on the calories. You'll never overeat. You'll always be in a caloric deficit, and that plus fasting will drop weight very fast. In 9 weeks, I was able to lose 33 pounds and really only lose about a pound of muscle density. Is Stronger With You a gourmand? No, it's about an entry-level gourmand. Javoy Paris Psychedelic. Yes, that's the next one I've got my eye on. No, I mean, here's the thing, man. From a calorie standpoint, running actually does nothing for you other than increasing your cardiovascular system. It's very good for that, actually, but science shows that the best thing to do when it comes to running-based exercise is to not actually run, but to speed walk. Speed walking is going to get a lot done for your cardiovascular system. But in terms of dropping weight in a healthy way, the best thing that you can do is put yourself in a caloric deficit via fasting and regularly fast to give your digestive system a break, to introduce raw food nutrients via fruits and vegetables, mostly fruits, and to eat less meals. That's the fastest way to drop weight. You actually don't even need to work out during that type of a diet. However, if you want to maintain muscle density and have tonality to your body, then eventually, if you can get to the point where you're only eating 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day, switching your lunch out to juice and salad, you can work out. I actually worked out every single day during my 9-week fast. However, I did all calisthenics because I did not want to deal with muscle injury or anything like that. So I was really only working out to stretch the body and to increase cardiovascular. So I was jumping on trampolines. And then I did a 500 set, a really basic workout of 100 push-ups, 100 squats, about a 5 to 10 minute plank, and then 100 morning glories. But most of that, none of that exercise actually contributed to the weight loss. It was all being in a caloric deficit in a fasted state to really tap into turning your body into a ketogenic state where you're burning fat for energy instead of calories for fuel. Hopefully that made sense for you. That's the fastest way to lose weight. Fasting and eating less. Diet contributes to more than 80-90% of weight loss in terms of efficiency. And it's really good just simply to reset the human body in terms of giving all of your organs a break to detox and to not be working. There's a lot of things you can do to improve your health, but if you're asking me how do you lose weight, I'm going to always focus on less calories and being fasted, because that'll eat through your brown, not brown or white, one of the two, brown or white body fat the fastest. Have you smelled these two frags? If so, thoughts on them? Amir Al-Oud Latafa. No, I haven't. And Al Watanya Hayat. I have not. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys 60 seconds. Lasting questions. Um, 60 seconds to ask any questions. I'll come back in 1 minute, answer all of them, and then we're going to sign off for the day. Ask away. I'm going to get a drink. All right, guys, what's up? Okay, so now last minute questions. Metal Rain is a great fragrance. I actually wore it 3 days ago. To me, it's one of the cheapest alternatives to Silver Mountain water. It doesn't smell exactly like Silver Mountain water in the same way that Off Non-Supremacy in Heaven smells. However, for $15 to $20 for 100 ml of Metal Rain, it is a phenomenal smelling fragrance. Doesn't smell synthetic at all, and it is a very valid choice for a metallic, citric, rain-like fragrance. Totally advocate for it. Cayenne Classic is an incredible fragrance. It is, to me, a 9.5 out of 10 clone of Dior Homme Intense. It's a wonderful fragrance. I have it. It is spectacular. It maintains the DNA and the performance and all that good stuff, and it's only 20 bucks. Cayenne Classic, if you're looking for Dior Homme Intense, you will get it. Should I blind buy vetiver linen? No. What you should actually do is soon, hopefully by the end of this week, I'll actually be giving away a 150 ml of linen vetiver. I have it right here. We'll be doing a giveaway on the channel. I have this fragrance for you guys. So sign up for the giveaway, see if you win. If not, I would actually, I mean, you can get it if you want. It's a great fragrance, but sign up for the giveaway, see if you win it. Any other questions, boys? I hope I was helpful for you tonight. I certainly did a lot of talking. I'll tell you guys how to enter the giveaway. Just make sure you're tuning in around Friday or Saturday, and I'll get you all the information on the giveaway. All right, guys, again, thank you so much for tuning into the Scent Bubble. If there was any questions tonight that I didn't answer, I do fly through the chat sometimes, but I think I answered everything that I possibly could. If there's anything I didn't answer, copy paste your question into the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer it within 24 hours. I hope I brought you guys a lot of value today. Again, if you're new to the channel, we drop episodes every single day on this channel, and I work my butt off to provide free content to you guys. A lot of new stuff on the horizon. As you guys have seen, we've got the new introduction with sound effects. We've got some giveaways coming, a lot of collabs coming. I'm going to be featured on a lot of YouTube channels in the next month, so stay tuned for that. And I just really appreciate all of the input from everybody. Again, shout outs to my mods, Greenlee, for always doing the transcribes, and to Joel for always moderating, and all of you guys who are doing the fragrance recommendations for everybody in here while I'm, being a snail going through chat. And thank you to everybody who's participating and asking questions. I hope I brought you guys some value and really appreciate you guys. And I try to show my appreciation by giving you guys as much free game as humanly possible. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again. And until next time, this is Descent Bubble. Y'all stay blessed.